California Governor Gavin Newsom is taking the fight directly to Fox News. Today, he filed a $787 million lawsuit against Fox News, specifically targeting Jesse Waters, one of Fox News' hosts, over what he claims is defamation for Jesse Waters falsely stating that Newsom lied about a phone call with Donald Trump during the LA protests. Now, this is a major escalation by Gavin Newsom, and I do want to point out a few things. Number one, he's suing Fox News for $787 million. That's the exact same amount Dominion Voting Systems sued Fox News over. In addition, Gavin Newsom is suing Fox News and telling Fox that if it just apologized for lying, he would drop the lawsuit. Donald Trump, however, has sued ABC News, CBS News, and others and would not drop the lawsuit, even if the companies apologized, demanding tens of millions of dollars from these companies. And well, now Fox News has a major lawsuit on its hands, one that Gavin Newsom could very well win. In addition, today we had major Supreme Court rulings, and I did a whole breakdown earlier today about what these Supreme Court rulings are, what they mean, etc. But CASA Inc., which is the immigration advocacy group that was involved in the nationwide injunction birthright citizenship case, has adjusted its legal strategy and has requested an emergency block on Trump's birthright citizenship policy, refiling its broader lawsuit as a class action. So the birthright citizenship injunction essentially blocked nationwide injunctions in this original types of cases, but it left the door open for class actions to be certified under Rule 23 in the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure that essentially say, we're going to block temporarily and join federal courts or the administration from enforcing the birthright citizenship executive order over a specific class of individuals. So here the class is anyone born after February 19th in the United States of America that could be subject to the executive order. So anyone born to two undocumented parents, for example. So that is something very, very significant. We'll see what happens next. Now, everyone wants to know about the big, beautiful bill, and I want to talk about because we have a big update. Now, before I continue, please consider subscribing to my Substack by clicking the button below or sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas to support. So the big, beautiful bill, the budget bill, is currently pending in the United States Senate. And according to reports, the earliest we're going to get a vote on it is Saturday night. And it looks like, based on what I'm hearing, that the votes will happen Saturday night into early morning Sunday. So overnight, once again, in the dark. So the American people are asleep when it happens. But I'll provide you updates throughout. Donald Trump announced that he is ending all trade talks with Canada, saying that tariffs will be paid by American companies and consumers, not by Canada. In addition, Trump told Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, that he'd catch more flies with honey than vinegar and confirmed reports that he was considering lifting some sanctions on Iran. Now, the U.S. military chose not to use major bunker buster bombs on one Iranian nuclear facility last week in the Isfahan site because the site was so deeply buried that weapons likely would not have been effective. Today, the president of the University of Virginia resigned under pressure from the Trump administration after the Justice Department demanded his departure as part of a resolving civil rights investigation into the university, specifically over the university's alleged DEI practices. They're going after universities and forcing the presidents to resign. Today, Trump praised Vladimir Putin's remarks about America, saying, quote, he respects our country again. Putin previously said he deeply respects Donald Trump. Trump also said that he would consider bombing Iran again if it continues enriching uranium, stating, quote, sure, without question, absolutely. Trump took out more anger on none other than Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, calling him a stubborn mule, a stupid person, and said he plans to replace him with someone willing to cut interest rates. The Trump administration announced it will end temporary protected status for Haitians, putting over 500,000 at risk of deportation despite ongoing violence and instability in Haiti. Critics are calling this move very dangerous, with advocates warning that conditions remain simply too unsafe for them to return. Canadian authorities in Ottawa are investigating the death of 49-year-old Johnny Novello, a longtime U.S. resident, Canadian citizen who died in ICE custody over the past couple of days. They're demanding answers from the administration over how a Canadian resident could have died in ICE custody. A Honduran man, asylum seeker, identified as Miss Z, is suing the Trump administration after she and her children, including a 6-year-old son with leukemia, were arrested at a Los Angeles immigration court and held at a Texas detention center. The Trump administration has rehired Big Balls, Musk's associate, for a position at the Social Security Administration. Lauren Boebert cast doubt on the moon landing, saying, quote, "I wasn't alive either when we went to the moon. Things change, facts change." The Federal Reserve announced that all 22 major banks successfully passed this year's annual stress test, and a Colorado funeral homeowner has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for fraud after storing nearly 190 decomposing bodies instead of cremating them. Folks, that's all the news right now. Please consider supporting my work by clicking the button below to subscribe to my Substack or sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas, and I'll see you this evening, or else probably this evening or in the morning.